And what are your qualifications?
Hi, I'm Kim Rafosco. I got to talk to a lot of you last week. Some of you received a letter and information from me. I don't want to be repetitive too much about my experiences. I do have a handout for anyone that didn't get to check that out if you want to find out more later. I got involved with the Penn Hills Democratic Committee 4 years ago. I called in to the office and asked for some Biden yard signs. And it was Jerry actually who showed up at my house. I'm in the Alcoma area. This was during COVID time, and came and brought me yard signs and noticed that there was an opening for a female committee member in my area. So I went and got my petitions, saw my name on a ballot for the first time, was really excited about that, and started coming here to hang out with you guys. I've been committed in trying to volunteer. I work with some of you on the special events committees. I try to go to our organizations, our festivals. I try to donate when I'm able to. I'm coming from a bunch of different experiences that I think that will be useful for council. I've worked over the last 8 years for a lot of nonprofits and at a lot of boards. First, I'm an educator. I've been in education for over 20 years. I've taught in the realm of public, private, cyber, inner city, rural, Catholic, you name it. I can talk to you at any point about all the different schools. And I also work in curriculum alignment. In addition to being an educator, I serve on some boards. I'm the Pittsburgh leader for Outdoor Afro, which is a nonprofit, a national nonprofit that's dedicated to connecting Black people in the outdoors and showing that that representation matters, that we're out here, we're doing these things. I work with a lot of partners locally and nationally to make sure that that happens, that it requires grant money, grant writing, and fundraising to get funding to make that happen. I take people hiking, I take them kayaking, we go fly fishing, I have a Black people ski program. We work with partners around the city to remove the barriers that might prevent somebody from being able to enjoy the outdoors. I also work with PA Fish and Boat Commission. I do fly fishing. If anybody wants to come out in one of my fly fishing programs, I would love to have you there. So I get to work with a lot of the fun stuff, but behind the scenes of that is also the funding, the finances, the grant writing, the community organization, and the programming. I also work with Venture Outdoors. I'm the governance chair on the board. I'm in my 4th year there. Venture Outdoors is the largest Pittsburgh outdoor organization that you see around. Our biggest revenue is Kayak Pittsburgh, that you're probably familiar with, the yellow kayaks that you see along the rivers, and then North Park and Elizabeth Park. So for me, that was a big experience for me to start to learn about financial literacy. Another thing that I think is going to help me to come into council. I wasn't used to looking at a multi-million-dollar spreadsheet of profits and losses and figuring out all of the grants that we have coming in and the staff salaries that we have to pay. So I worked really hard with our CEO to take some financial literacy lessons so that I could be better of use on the board. As the governance chair, I also work with the bylaws. I do hiring. I work with staff in our hiring practices, and we also do development funding. When I'm not doing any of those things, I have 2 kids. I'm a homeowner here since 2006 in Penn Hills. I have a 20-year-old and a 23-year-old. They're off doing their own things and study abroad right now and in DC. I've raised them here in Penn Hills because Penn Hills has wonderful programs for children. There's some people in this room that I know that have been my kids' teachers, their youth group. My son grew up playing chess over here, learning right here in the library. So I really believe in Penn Hills and the programs that we have, and look forward to more programs that we can have, and hoping to bring some of that board experience and my volunteerism into the council. Thank you.
I live at 706 Long Road. Okay. I come from Detroit. I'm not from Pittsburgh. I'm actually a 7th generation Detroiter, and Detroiters of my generation found themselves in a strange position if you're about my age, you came of age in the 90s, the early 2000s, essentially there was no way to live in Detroit and there were no jobs in Detroit, people were leaving, we were a hemorrhaging population. I went to school in public schools in Detroit all my life. I went to Michigan State University where I studied US history and politics. But when I came back to Detroit, it was clear that I needed to leave. So this was about 2004, 2005. Essentially what we found is everybody was leaving. There would be, every weekend there'd be a new going away party. And I ended up going to a lot of places simply to try to get ahead of the curve, to be able to afford a house, to be able to afford the things that we take advantage, that we take for granted as, you know, sort of the middle class in America. But wherever I went, I found I wasn't quite able to get over that hurdle. I rented until I was 40 years old. My wife and I bought our first house 4 years ago, and we bought it in Penn Hills. I'm so grateful to Penn Hills for the gift of home ownership. And it's largely one of the reasons why I came here. I look at Penn Hills and I see opportunity, I see possibilities. I understand if you've lived here all your life and you've seen people move away, you may not be able to see that, but to me it's clear as day that we have jobs here, we have jobs in Pittsburgh, we have affordable houses, we especially have affordable housing here in Penn Hills, which is an important thing because, as the mayor always says, we're a bedroom community, right? We need to fill all of those houses in order to have the tax funds that we want to do the things that we need to do. All right, professionally, I have been a project manager and a program manager for 20 years. I'm sort of mid-career, looking for a new opportunity to things to do. So what does it mean when I'm a project manager and a program manager? I work for nonprofits basically all my life. I've looked over budgets, $2-3 million. I've written budgets, $2-3 million. And I'm also a program manager, meaning that once the projects are brought up, I take it through to completion. And that's essentially what I've been doing. I've been doing that working from home for many, many, many years. Yeah. Like I said, I am grateful for Penn Hills. It's the schools, it's the housing that's important to me, and I'm looking forward to talking more about that.
Good evening. My name is William Jeffcoat. I am a 42-year resident. I grew up in Penn Hills. Went through St. Bart's for numerous years before going to Linton and graduate of Penn Hills High School in 2001. 1999, I just happened to be driving past one of the firehouses and I saw the garage door open. Did a UE and pulled in. So what does it take to join? And went through the application process. That was in 1999, and I was a junior firefighter. I was a gopher. Anything that was needed at the fire scene, I would go and I would bring that to the guys that asked for it, whether it be the fire chief or other senior firefighters. And from there, did fire training, and luckily enough, I was nominated to be a fire officer. Started out as a lieutenant, worked my way through the ranks from lieutenant to captain to assistant chief, and was humbled when I was nominated to be the leader, be the fire chief. I've been the fire chief there for about 10 years. Just last year, I received my 25-year life membership there. Through that venture, I've made lifelong friendships, but also I know what the community needs, and I'm at the heartbeat of it every single day. Doesn't matter what time. I'm there to help, and I want to continue that thought process and that way of helping to the next level. And through council is going to be that way. Again, like I said, I'm a 42-year resident. I've lived on Clematis Boulevard since 2005. My wife and I, we purchased a house over there. During that time, we've had we were blessed to have a son, 10-year-old son, who is a spitting image. There's no way I can deny that he's actually right out there too. I can't deny that. Again, he loves this particular place. He loves the library. I had to return some books here on my way in from him. So this is one of the places that he loves. The parks here, he loves that. And those are one of the things that I'm committed to improving if I'm lucky enough to be nominated for council. What do I do on a day-to-day basis? I work for an insurance company. I investigate deaths, particularly with police departments, fire departments, EMS agencies. My company that I work for provides a unique type of insurance, life insurance and accident and health and stuff like that. So I deal with that. I'm also a big advocate for mental health in our public safety fields and whatnot. In the last couple of years, I'm proud to say that I've kind of turned our fire department into a model. At some point in time, we had more life members, individuals that had their time and weren't coming to fire calls anymore. So how do we recruit and retain people? We started a live-in program where we have a space where we bring college-aged men and women with firefighting experience. We offer them a place to live, and in turn they sign a contract with us, and we are able to provide the municipality with basically career staffing at $0. Like everybody else here, I'm a taxpayer just like you, and trying to stretch a dollar as far as it can go. Being a figurehead at the fire department, I have a budget to worry about and to work with, and that budget is unknown. I kind of work on our budget from what our donations were the year before. So, I'm all about trying to save as much as we can, strengthen our fire department, strengthen the police department, our EMS agencies, public works, code enforcement, and so forth. I've also had the chance to be appointed to the zoning board, and I believe that's kind of where our next strongest thing for change is going to come, with some revitalization of our zoning board codes so that we can entice big business, small business into the municipality. So I thank you guys for your time, and have a good evening.
I want to tell you a little bit about what I do and why I want to be a part of council. Currently, I'm a mortgage banker. I work for S&T Bank. I've been a part of the Penn Hills community for about 20 years. I'm only 33. I have a family here, I have daughters here. They attend the school district. I have stakes in the community. Currently, what I want to do is talk about something that all three of these people have mentioned at some point. We're talking about building families, building homes in Penn Hills. Sorry, a little shaky, there's a whole lot of y'all. So, we've all spoke about building families and building homes and learning about financial literacy and doing all of these things that pertain to homeownership and housing. When you go to your bank or when you go and speak with someone and you're talking about homeownership and housing, 9 times out of 10 in the city of Pittsburgh, you're gonna come right to me. I wanna use my knowledge that I've picked up from multiple years in the career of finance and mortgage banking to help our community. Shaking, y'all, goodness, there's a whole lot of y'all. Typically, we just had a conversation about speaking about ourselves. I hate doing it, but for this sake, I have to. I've worked with multiple down payment assistance programs to help homeowners get into homes. I've done multiple special financing programs to help new homeowners get into homes. The homeownership program that helps Penn Hills is the Action Housing Program. I helped our bank and our compliance group get into that program and help our program fit that for new homeowners. And you're asking yourself, why are you talking to me about homeownership and we're talking about the municipality? I've worked with multiple nonprofit programs, including the Penn Hills CDC. I was asked to be a part of the board, and you can ask Leonie sitting right there. I said yes before they even asked me. I wanted to be a part of my community. I wanted to be a part of the reason why Penn Hills is changing, and I believe I have the resilience and the adaptability to do that. To be a part of council, you have to have that resilience and adaptability. Without saying any names, without pointing out any specific things, there are multiple things that prevent Penn Hills from moving forward. I have stepped into those rooms with these people and spoke to both sides and heard all sides and all stories. I've sat down with people like Alan Waldron, Pauline Calabrese. I spoke with Tyler Tomasino at the Penn Hills CDC. I spoke with all of my Penn Hills CDC board members. We started a development project that we pushed through to get to apply for a grant. We don't know if that one is gonna come, but that will push new development in Penn Hills, which will contribute to our tax base, okay? Why is the tax base important? We just sat through a meeting in Ms. Pauline, December, about a budget meeting, wanting to increase our taxes, and they didn't want to, they did. They increased our millage rate by a small percent. I spoke with Joe McAndrews, and he let me know that percent. He didn't let me know, but we spoke about it shortly, and from what I heard, it was needed. How do we stop that? We want to build up our tax base. We need more homes. We need more ability to purchase homes. We need more development. As Mr. Jeffco stated, we need more businesses. But Penn Hills does not have a lot of businesses right now because our people and our finances are, I don't want to say dwindling, but they're not increasing. So how do we do that? I want to bring more people to Penn Hills so we can have a larger tax base. We will be more advantageous for businesses. We'll look aesthetically better. And I just want to make Penn Hills just a better place to be and a better place for you, so you are not necessarily taking all the brunt of the work as it pertains to taxes. Thank you.
Next, pick a question. No, and read it. You have 3 minutes to answer it. Then everyone else has 1 minute.
So the question is, what are your thoughts on the potential privatization of the WPJWA? Which obviously is, it's a tough question, which is obviously the water company that on my side of town, the other side of town, Verona, obviously, has Verona Water. So the WPJWA doesn't just serve us. Do you all know that? The WPJWA is also Forest Hills, it's also Wilkinsburg, it's also, when I first moved in, I moved into Swissvale, it's also Swissvale. So this is a larger question than we can address just at the council level for Penn Hills. However, in general, the question of privatization I think is a bad idea, right? When we own things as a community, right? And when we're able to direct how that thing grows, that's a positive thing, right? If we can exert some measure of democratic control. I know a lot of people have problems with the water board, a lot of people have problems with the sewers. I'm sure we'll talk about that later today. However, privatization versus some measure of democratic control, I'm always going to come down on the measure of democratic control fence and reject the idea of privatization.
I agree with Ian. I mean, the privatization is not the way to go. We have just talked about this with our sewage system. We looked at the pros and cons of that, and there were hardly any pros. We had a lot of cons for that. So again, I agree. Privatization is not, I think, in our best interest. Again, we can have some control with the diplomatic process going through government and so forth. So I'm not in favor of privatization. organization.
I'm just gonna ditto, honestly, because anything privatized can be manipulated for personal gain. So I'm just gonna ditto on my two counterparts and say I agree.
Also a ditto against privatization, and just to add on to what Bill's saying, you know, we are in Penn Hills paying for what we need to pay in our sewage fees, and to still be being increased in other ways that are affecting other communities, like Algoson that's continuing to increase, can be a problem for us. So I'd like to continue to see what we can do about that. I'm gonna say, same thing I'm gonna probably say all night. I don't know what I don't know, and so what I do when I'm starting and if elected a new position is I spend my first 30 days to learn. I'm not there to go in and say, this is what we need to do, this is what we need to change. I'm there to learn, to listen to people, and we have experts in place to let us know, to consult on the best ways to go about moving forward. So that would be my first job.
3 minutes. Starting from when, after he reads the question.
Okay.
All right.
You read the question every day?
So the question that I have here is, what ideas do you have to better promote what is good about Penn Hills to counteract the negative public image? I think our power is in the volunteer, not just because I am one, but because the majority of the people here are one. I mean, there are tons of community groups that people are volunteering for to better the community, to empower the community. So shedding light on each and every one of those is definitely the way to better the image of the crime that takes place. And you know, if elected to council, you know, helping to empower our community organizations, but also looking into what our police are doing. You know, statistics matter. Let's look at what our you know, what the crime rates are in Penn Hills. Let's look at what the particular areas that are hotspots and figure out a way to combat that statistically. Focus our energy and focus our officers and our money that we're spending on those individuals to try and rid crime of those particular areas. Those would be the ways that I would highlight to try and to highlight the positive things and, you know, kind of shadow the negative things.
Question was, what ideas do you have to better promote what is good about Penn Hills to counteract the negative public image? I'm not gonna talk about crime statistics because nobody has them right now. What we have to do is do exactly what our Penn Hills CDC is doing and highlight all the groups that are doing work to better our community. Right now, there was a community census that took place, 2 years ago? And we are promoting what is good about Penn Hills. All of the groups, all of you are a part of a group in Penn Hills. And I will tell you, I promise you, I never met you, Mr. Mounts, before I joined the Penn Hills CDC. But Mr. Mounts is what's good about Penn Hills. I promise you, he runs around all the time with, like, apparently, from what I understand, like
so
that.
So does his wife.
So does his wife, I do apologize. And he does what's good for Penn Hills. We need to promote the people in Penn Hills and the things that we have in Penn Hills and not necessarily worry about the negative image that can be proven wrong via crime statistics and focus on the people that we have here.
question is actually why I'm here tonight, to change the narrative of Penn Hills, to change our positivity. We know that it's great here. We need other people to know that it's great here, because when everyone else knows it's great, when everybody else knows that it's great here, then we're gonna have new homeowners, we're gonna have new businesses come in. This can be done from a few different ways. I know the CDC is doing things with beautification, with litter. We have amazing parks. I told you I'm a big outdoors person. I would love to do more community organizations with our outdoors that we have. We have great programs here with our library programs, our senior programs, soon to be a lot of programs with our youth programs that'll be coming up in that development. We know it. We just need to let everybody else know it, that this is a great place to live, and I really want to change that narrative and the positivity of Penn Hills.
So it's undeniable that there is a stigma about Penn Hills for people who live around the area. And coming from the outside, I was completely unaware of this. Frankly, I was unaware of it when I moved. And the thing is, I have a real hard time understanding where the stigma comes from. Because I look around, I see the Churchill Valley Greenway, I see great parks, I see all these people here on a Tuesday evening for a local candidate thing after one of the worst elections for Democrats in a generation. Yes, the people here in this room are what's great about Penn Hills, but there is also a lot to offer other than just people. We have reasonably priced housing. That is a big deal to 99% of the country. It really is. I've lived everywhere, and I can tell you, homeownership here, it feels hard, but it's easier here than it is in other places. And I think that's a good thing, and I think that's an important and powerful thing. So combat the stigma whenever you see it, right? And the good news is that people from coming out from the outside like me, they don't know the stigma. They don't know the old stories that people are talking about and have been talking about, what happened with Alcosan, what happened with the school district. They don't know this, and that's a positive thing too.
The question is, do you believe the municipality and the school district should work together on issues that affect the community? If yes, how would you go about it? Goal right there. So, absolutely, I believe the municipality and the school district should work together. The main issue that everyone in here has is the taxes that are placed on our houses. We need to find a better way to tax just things in general. I'm not gonna be specific, I'm just gonna say things in general. Housing, to take the burden off of you as a homeowner. There are a lot of people in here who may be on Social Security on a fixed income. What happens when your millage goes up, and then what happens when those school taxes go up? We absolutely need to partner with our local CDC, and you're gonna hear me say that a lot. I'm gonna push that to push our community to bring more children into our municipality, bring more people into our municipality via housing, to put them in our school district, to put more tax dollars in Penn Hills, and then we need to work with the school district to possibly, I don't wanna say lower them, because I mean, we can't really go back, but we wanna keep them the same because we don't want the people who are on that fixed income to see that increase. A lot of people can't take that. Thank you.
So yes, absolutely. I would definitely be happy to use alignment between the two. When new homeowners are looking to buy here, they come in and they see that we have affordable housing. In all the suburbs around us, we have wonderful affordable housing still. When they then compare that to the report card of our schools, that's what kind of starts to make the decision if they're coming in to Penn Hills. I'd absolutely, and we'll hear from school board later, so I won't say too much, but I'm absolutely excited to hear what school board says about things like retaining our students, improving quality education, having the best teachers, and improving our PSSA scores, and things like that that are just gonna make us stand out as a great school district, and families that will wanna come in and buy here into the school district.
Yes, absolutely. The two should work together. I don't think anybody here is gonna say no to that question. But I will say, in general, I think that the skill set necessary to be on council isn't necessarily the skill set to be on the school board. I would never imagine running for school board because that is not, that's not what I do. I don't work in education. So I'm sure there are 1,000 things that I don't understand when I'm trying to answer a question like this, but let's try anyways. Okay, property taxes. We're Democrats, we're not supposed to care about taxes, and taxes are, Taxes are the reason why we have, clean water. Taxes are the reason why you have schools. However, property taxes now are 45 mils in Penn Hills. That's $100,000 house, that's $4,500 a year. That's a lot. That's a lot relative to Forest Hills, to Plum, to Monroeville, to Verona, to Oakmont. And it's really something that we need to think about hard before they're raised again. On council, we don't have a ton of opportunity to do that. The school board is the bigger party there. Thanks.
I absolutely agree. You can't have one without the other. We need to work together and try and figure out the best way that both parties can succeed, bringing more students, keeping them in our school district, figuring out why, if they are leaving, why are they leaving, and formulate a plan to bring those individuals back, keep our school district, the money that we're spending in our school district in our school district. And again, I kind of second Ian. I'm not really 100% sure about the process with the school district and everything like that. But again, have to work together because they work hand in hand. Again, figure out the best way that we can try and keep our taxes at a minimum. But again, we have to work together.
Getting a question that I'm not sure the answer, but I think I like this one. What are the goals and what do you hope to accomplish during the next 4 years of your term? So first of all, I want to say that I think that each of us up here are very qualified and can bring different perspectives to the table. I'm hoping to bring my own unique perspective to the table. Again, I have a lot to learn. Like I said, my 30-day plan that I go into any different act of my life is to listen. I don't plan to come in and say, here's what we need to change. It's my job to listen to you, to listen to the community, listen to the rest of the council, to the mayor, listen to our stakeholders. We have excellent staff in the municipal to listen to. Those are the experts that I would first come in and learn. I don't know everything about sewage, and I'm not an expert in infrastructure, and I'm not gonna pretend to be. So it's gonna be important to me to spend time with those in those fields who are best to advise me, to counsel me, and see what the issues are. And just to talk to you, to the committee, to our other Penn Hills residents of what are your concerns. My personal focuses that I would like to really highlight, our safety in our community, our, as I already spoke of, changing the narrative to a positive Penn Hills. I'm not exactly sure what we can do, with or with taxes. We relatively compared to the suburbs around us, we are pretty consistent and steady with our taxes, and we do know that we need to put in to get out. So to better our roads, to better our programs, to better our schools. So those would definitely be focuses of mine. First, though, I just plan to learn and listen to what everyone's needs are. So the question goes for 4 years. So I feel like after that learning process, then I really want to get involved. And I told you I'm used to community organizing. I have a lot of experience through grant writing, raising funds that we might need, that we can do different things with in our community. I have experience in programming and organizing, so we can also get the community involved in some fun as well. And that's it.
I would have preferred this one first, but what can you do? Okay, I do have ideas, and I frankly agree that the initial period is going to be learning, because this is a hard job. This is a different job than I've held before. I've had associated experiences, but really, really quickly. Okay. We talk about trash a lot in this community, and we've said that nothing can be done, that we can't pay people to pick up trash. It just can't happen. I'm almost convinced that it's a project management problem. I have a plan for it, and I'd like to talk to you about it. I want to stop private equity buying up houses in Penn Hills. 32% of houses, new housing sales over the last several years have been private equity. If we don't stop this, we're going to wake up and we're not going to have a town anymore. And finally, I'm sure there are many other things. If you ask me this question, if I'm good enough, if I'm fortunate enough to receive your votes, I'm sure I'll have another answer in a year. But the other thing is, we need to find an alternative to animal control in this town. We've been talking about it for years, and nobody seems to want to make that leap again. Thank you.
Yeah, I mean, I think the linchpin to a lot of things is our antiquated zoning practices, or zoning codes. We need to revisit those, bring some fresh eyes and some fresh thought processes to it, revitalize our code and our zoning codes that we have, and in turn that will allow big business, small business, entice them to come back into the municipality. The other thing, continue to improve our emergency services across the board. And the third and final thing in that time period is Alcosan. I want to make sure and figure out that the money that we're spending to pay Alcosan is not going to our system. Our system is already maintained by court order. We had to keep making those improvements. So the money that we're spending isn't even going to maintain our system. So to combat Alcosan in any way, shape, or form. Thank you.
So, what I would do is, my very first day, is I would start an economic development committee. About a few months ago, I wanted to restart the economic development committee, and all members of council agree with me. We need to build our community up organically. The way that we build our community up organically is by taking the people that live here, taking their ideas, finding new businesses that want to come to Penn Hills. I want to push our housing plan, which I said before, and what that will do is that will bring new homeowners to Penn Hills, which we've all been talking about, but we actually have a written down plan via PowerPoint, and I will send that to all of you if you would like to see it. Basically, what that plan will do is that will allow low-income home buyers, working class home buyers, and market rate home buyers to all purchase homes a part of the same project. So we're not being biased to one specific group of people. It will allow people of low income to purchase homes. It will allow people of middle class income to purchase homes, and people in market rate. Thank you.
What can you actually do to get things done on council? So all of us are going to be speaking from a position of ignorance here. Nobody up here has actually been on council. I myself have worked in bureaucracies my entire life. I understand something about bureaucracies, and I think there's sort of an associated move that would work there. When you're dealing with bureaucracies, when you're dealing with large systems, what it takes is just being a little bit ornery, just waiting a little bit longer, asking a little bit more, working a little bit harder. Honestly, I find that's the key to a lot of the things. But the actual day-to-day, I've had conversations with current members of council, I've had current members of council over to my house and asked about the job. And they told me some things. But honestly, I think it's what it's going to take is, it's going to take a group of people on council who want to make that change. That's it.
What to do to actually get things done on council. I guess, you know, I've, as being a figurehead of a department that is, you know, gone to council asking for increases in funds and justifying those, trying to justify them. Sometimes it happens, and sometimes it doesn't. I do think that, you know, explaining, you know, the thought process, where you're coming from, your past experiences, and why these projects that you take on are going to better the community and give those fellow council members a your vision, your thought process on how everything will go, and you know, hopefully just some like-minded council members that share your views and about the community and how it should be ran.
What can you actually do to get things done on council? I'm gonna speak from just a bowl of pure cockiness right here. The people that you're working with have to like you and respect you, period, point blank. I've spoke with all of our members of council, every single one of them. And I believe all of them respect me, and I don't think Sean Crestis hates me. You have to know what you're speaking about. I'm going to give you an example. When our taxes were raised, when our millage was raised specifically, I asked Alvin Waldron, hey, why didn't we raise the transfer tax instead of the millage? The transfer tax is the money that you pay on a home when you come in purchasing a home, instead of putting it on the people who live here and putting it on the people who are spending their hard-earned money day to day. Increase the buy-in, don't increase the sale. That's what I say. Thank
So I agree with David that a good rapport is necessary first. I've had the opportunity to sit down with council and with Pauline to just kind of get an idea of our reading of what's going on, what people want, what we want to see moving forward. I know it's hard to get things done. The first, like I said in the beginning, I want to be a listener. I want to learn. I want to know all of what the people's needs are. And then in the boards that I work with, we have a philosophy of give it or get it. So I can't give it, I don't have money to give, but I know how to get it, so I write grants. And whatever I can do to help bring in funding to the projects that we want to work towards, I would like to implement.
So my question is, how would I go about filling vacancies on volunteer boards within Penn Hills? Yeah, you know, my thought process is that, you know, that process needs to be opened up to council. You know, flood the council with the resumes and the people that they would like to see on that board, and that group together collectively pick the most qualified individuals to sit on those boards. personally don't think that it should be any one person's responsibility. So, you know, from past experiences, you know, being on the fire department, you know, I can't do everything myself. I need to spread that burden of jobs and tasks out to everyone else. So, you know, that's the only way to accomplish that. So I would personally like to look forward to empowering all of council to be able to put the appropriate people on those particular boards, those particular committees.
How would you go about filling vacancies on volunteer boards of Penn Hills? I would do exactly what we're doing right now. Right now, we are going to start having community meetings throughout the CDC to help people understand what boards are actually out there. A lot of young working class moms, dads, they might not even know those boards are available. A lot of people that look around you, just being honest, what's the average age in the room? Look, go ahead, look from side to side, I'm being dead serious. How many people 33 are in here? I can guarantee you that I am one of the youngest, this young couple right here, I mean, we're probably one of the youngest in here. We need to expand our reach. We need to get more younger working class people involved so we can expand our community, because if we don't, then what's gonna happen after everyone here is not able to be a part of the community anymore? So that's how I would go about it. I would reach out to more people, I would have community meetings, and then possibly put out an RFQ, maybe a request for qualifications for those boards to get people more involved, okay? Is that the time?
I absolutely agree with David and Bill. We need to see what are all of the vacancies on all of the boards, make that common knowledge. And also, I just think of it the way, think about like when you in church and the pastor says, next week, bring a friend. So I would say to everybody who comes to our committee meetings all the time, then next week, bring a friend, bring somebody qualified, spread the word, like let's let our neighbors know. We received a list of all of the people in Penn Hills who are Democrat registered and did not vote in this very important November election. We need to be reaching out to all of those people, finding out why, and welcoming everybody to come join us in these type of forums to see who fits best with what boards. You never know, we have so many different networking experiences just in this room of who might be a great fit for what.
So I know this has been an issue locally. Frankly, I've always been a little bit confused why it is an issue locally, because it seems an issue with a clear solution, right? All you need to do is require all vacancies to be published publicly, write clear job descriptions, and recruit when necessary, right? I've worked for volunteer organizations all my life. I've been staff in volunteer organizations all my life. This is what you do. You grab somebody, you take their hand, and you say, can you help me, please? And then sometimes that's all it takes. You ask somebody for help. You empower them to help you. And then once they do that for the first time, they're gonna come back, and then maybe it'll go down the line, and eventually it'll be on these boards. But recruiting volunteers is not the hardest thing in the world. Of all the problems in Penn Hills, this one actually has a solution, so that's good news. All right, thank you.
All right, 3 minutes for closing statements.
I won't really need 3 minutes, but I first became a part of the Penn Hills community groups through Kelly Anchor, and then I met Leon shortly after that. One of the things that I've always wanted to do is actually be in politics. That is, like, I've always wanted to help people. I always wanted to help my community. I do come from Penn Hills. I come from a family that knew nothing about financial literacy, knows nothing about zoning, knows nothing about just how to be, and it's gonna sound bad, just an upstanding citizen. And I wanna help our community get up to a area in which we are respected, we are financially, we're working good and financially, I'm sorry, kind of messed that up, but I wanna make sure that we are not getting killed in taxes, because that is the most important thing to me, if you haven't heard it throughout the day. And I actually have a plan to do that. And there's a group of people out there that will help us do this. The only thing we need is a little push. Going back to working with our council members, I try to speak to all of them as much as I can to get as much information because they are on council. They are very knowledgeable, every single one of them. And I believe every member of council would agree when I say this is something that I'm truly passionate about, and helping Penn Hills is the only thing I have on my agenda. Thank you.
If you look at my board experience, my volunteer experience, my nonprofit experience, you'll see all of the work that I do. I put in a lot of hours in community work. It's very important to me. I don't get paid for any of it. I bust myself in my regular job all day, and then as soon as that's over, I start with all of my other jobs because it means something to me. It means something to bring the community together. It means something to provide experiences that people may not be able to receive on their own, and it means something to me to remove the barriers to allow people to access basic services that they need in their own communities. And for me, I look at that as I would look at council as not a task to do or not a job to do, but in being invested with my community and being happy to be a dedicated servant to what it is that you need. Some of you, I said I showed you my letter. If you want to find out more about me, my contact information, my resume, I'm going to pass some of these around. You can scan the QR code. Happy to sit down with anybody for a coffee, for a beer, for come hang out if you really want to know more about me and what I think I could bring to council.
All right, from like 18 to like 40, essentially, I felt like I was anonymous. I was living in large cities anonymously, renting. I didn't really feel like I had a stake. The first time I really felt like I had a stake was when my wife and I closed in our house in Penn Hills, and that was 4.5 years ago. And since then, I joined the Democratic Committee. I'm the treasurer on the Democratic Committee. I live right across the street from the Churchill Valley Greenway. If you haven't been, please go to the Churchill Valley Greenway. It's on Long and Beulah Road. It's the biggest green space open in the county since Weissenbach. So since the 60s or the 70s. It's an amazing thing in our community. I'm on a long-term committee to come up with a long-term plan for the Churchill Valley Greenway, and I'm also a steward there. And I'm also a long-term volunteer for World Bicycle Relief. A lot of this came in the last 4 years. I've always been politically engaged, I've always voted, I've always knocked on doors, I've always had my political opinions. But the first time I really felt at home and felt like I had a stake was when I was moving here in Penn Hills. I'm a reasonably bright guy. I've been a project manager, a program manager. I feel like I have something to offer. Let me. Thank you.
Well, thank you everybody for this evening. Again, I'll echo the fact that I'm a 42-year lifelong resident of Penn Hills. I have loved Penn Hills from the day my parents decided to settle here. And I've never left. I don't really have any plans to leave. public safety, emergency services, I've spent more than half my life embedded in that. Just trying to help the community, and with your help, with your nomination, I'll continue to do that, just in a different format. You know, I've been on the personnel board, current zoning board member, paramedic advisory board for Allegheny County, fire science advisory board for Allegheny County. Public safety, emergency services have been in my blood for, since I was 15 years old. I was walking out of Jimmy Del Grosso's barber shop on Salzburg Road, and I saw a fire truck go roaring down the street, and I was hooked after that. And I've loved Penn Hills from day one. And I have, like I said, lucky enough to have a 10-year-old son that loves the same things that I do. Loves the community, loves the parks, loves the library, loves all that stuff. And again, with your help, I'm committed to making everything that we have even better. Thank you guys very much for your time.